And then, so, I think the rule is, not about the rule, but practice is just kind of take in what's happening here, and then you can go back to the video for details. You can share the videos with others. And I want to say that I think that we've put together really a world-class qualitative data analysis tool that is infused heavily with AI throughout the process, throughout the tool. So with that being said, and we're doing a workshop, so you can follow along. If you have trouble logging in, let us know, let Ashley or Melissa know, and we can work with you offline, or maybe other people having the same problem, so that we can help everyone simultaneously. So I'm just going to get to basically just talk about how data is inputted. Typically, one, you have choices about how data is inputted. You don't necessarily have to put it in by interview, or all the observations per time or something to that sort. That there's choices. So, and based on that choice, there's going to be different types of results. So I guess the typical use is I have 10 interviewees, with 5 interview questions, and I put in each interview by interview. I put in 10 interviews. But you don't have to do that. You can put it in by interviewer question, right? So I'm going to grab 10 data sets with just interview question 1 on there. So that's a way to do it. Because now when you use AI, then it's only going to have that data there. It's not going to be cross-loading, I'll say. Okay, looking for excerpting or looking for codes that have are responses to very different interview questions. So just to know that you can put that in by there. You could also put it in by study aim. Okay, hey, these responses are about experiences of digestive disorders. These responses are around the coping mechanisms of digestive disorders. So just to know that there's options about how you're inputting that data. As I say, the most common use case is just by interview. I'll say by interviewee. Okay. So I'm going to go through this process with you. And by the way, I'm very interested, and my team is very interested in your thoughts about these things. We put out a best protocol. We have different ideas about how to do stuff, but you may have other ideas. So the best practice protocol for inductive. First of all, what does inductive mean? So inductive auto-coding in this case means that I come in, I open up the tool, I have my 10 interviews or 2 interviews in this particular case, and I let the tool excerpt for me. And I let the tool name those excerpts a la a code. And then I let the tool describe that code. So that's one mode of doing this. So this is how one might do an inductive auto-coding thematic process. So first of all, basics, you have to upload the data, obviously. Heads up that you can also allow our services to transcribe your interviews. So, okay, so data is going to be in, and then you're going to have a good sense of it by reading, rereading. Even if you've done the interviews, obviously reading it again, you're going to have a real stronger sense of it and your own intuitions about it. That might be a good time to start writing some memos about that. I think here's some themes that are emerging, or just reflections that are coming out of your brain that you think, okay, this could be something. It's also mission critical to read and read, because if you don't have that sense, you don't know if this AI support, okay, is helpful to you. So you don't know if it's right or not unless you have that that knowledge of the data. Okay. The next aspect is really to generate those codes, but it's really then an excerpting process, one, and then naming, putting together excerpts, creating a code and a description. After that's done automatically, okay, then there has to be a refining process, which is you have to now go through each. We're not going to get to it all today, but the process is you need to then go through every code and say, does that suggested code make sense? Does that suggested description make sense? How do I want to do this differently? And then certainly, and importantly, do the excerpts go together with that with that code and description? So that's really important. And this is really a core, I'll say a core step of it. If you don't have decent codes, which are going to be part of your themes, then you're off on the wrong foot. So it's really important to do this process. Also, and I don't have it here because I'm kind of looking at the AI features of it, but it's also a great time to manually add codes, okay? So there might be things that you're like, hey, you know what? It's missed this, or that code needs to be split out into two codes, or those codes need to be collapsed, all right? So really get involved in here. Do the manual coding, do the auto coding, and now you got a heck of a good base to start with. All right. Moving along is the thematizing process. This is, there's a few milestones here. So a couple of things that have to happen. One is you have 6 codes or 10 codes or 16 codes, okay? The question is, how many themes does that represent? Okay, that's a question. All right, does it represent 2 themes? Does it represent 16 themes? So the AI is going to support you in discerning the optimal number of themes. That's one. Then it's going to create a theme name and a theme description, and then bucket the appropriate codes to go with it into it. So that's a really another innovative step in this process. Moving on, just like the refining of the code, you need to refine those themes. What does that mean? I need to go into every theme. I need to look at that suggested theme name. Because again, you're the expert. This machine is dumb. You're the expert. Does that theme name make sense? Can I make it better? Better yet, can I make it where other folks who may be novices get it, right? So you want to look at that theme name very carefully. The theme description, does that make sense? And then do the types of codes that are bucketed underneath, okay, underneath those themes make sense. All righty. Then moving on, we have a research question theme alignment. This came out of folks like you sitting and listening and saying, hey, Jim, we're not doing this for the fun of it. We're doing this to examine particular questions, okay? So the idea now is, okay, how do my research questions, how are they examined with those themes? How do they mesh together, okay? So we let AI mesh together themes and research questions, and then add a little bow on top of that by providing a rationale for why they might go together. So that's that process here. And then as a refining that alignment theme question alignment. All right, now we've added one other step. And this was, I was like a dog with a bone to get this. So we went through many iterations, but we have an easy way to assess the inter-rater reliability of your themes. When I've asked folks, I said, why don't you do the kappa, inter-rater reliability? And they said, it's too hard to do it. I get it. Because I, a short 23 years ago, I was recruiting and it was a 10-hour process. I almost cried when our programmer got it going because I said, it just saved me, hours and hours and hours and hours, but it's also going to make your analysis stronger, because if you don't have inter-rater reliability around those themes, that's your indicator to go back and check it out. Okay, that's your time to go back. And for those that want to publish going forward, guess I'm speaking to associate professors now. Okay, that it's going to help support your article, your proposed article, that you have that reliability piece. As I have said 1,000 times, just because I think that theme in that one excerpt, okay, all right, goes together, it doesn't mean that other people are going to get it. So looking at the inter-rater reliability or the analyzing the kappa coefficient, I'll show you how to do that. That is our full tennis swing, okay? And then we can go to download the analysis, and then you can continue on and do things. So, all righty, so that's one process. There's also a deductive process. Feel free to contact Melissa or Ashley for a little demo on that. Okay, happy to do that. Okay, so basically that deductive process is I have a priori codes. Now I want to go out and get excerpts related to that. Or I've been through a few interviews. I have 50 more interviews. I have some themes that I want to capture. Okay. And before, I'm not going to touch on courses at the moment. And I think we want to now get to the uploading of this. So let's talk about, so everyone, let's go ahead and get logged in. Okay. I'll give everyone a moment to do that. All right. And I see Melissa and Ashley are on chat. If there's any, again, Q&A, bring it on. If anybody's got problems logging in, I guess now is the time to raise your hand and let Ashley and Melissa help you. Melissa, should I just go on, or should I give people a minute to get on?
I think you can go on and not necessarily actually raise your hand, but put the question in the Q&A and we'll help you that way.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I do is I'm going to go to projects, okay, and then go to create projects, okay. So so here we have workshop, okay, 9/12, September 12th. Okay, so here is a place to put in a purpose statement and your research questions. The AI is going to be using research questions for that research question theme rationale. You got to have the question there. So just heads up there. And this is 2 transcripts, about 15 pages each, that deal with digestive disorders of Sarah and Brett. So one question is, what are your experiences? With digestive disorders. This. And then another, not disorders, okay? And then the other question is really about that coping mechanisms, okay? To deal with. Okay. So you submit your project name, rationale and research questions, then you can go to transcript. So just as an overview, you can upload text files, Word files, PDF files, upload audio or video files in 1,000 formats for transcription. 25 cents a minute, kind of the normal rate, or you can just type or paste in here. So, or you can just add transcripts here. And then I'm going to upload files, and I'm just going to go right here to Brett and Sarah. By the way, what I show you, really, I'm uploading 2 of these things, But if you had, 102, it would be about the same to get things uploaded, to have AI. You'll notice a few of these things take a few minutes, but it's not a linear relationship between the number of transcripts, of the size of the transcripts, and the time it takes. Okay. So now I have 2 transcripts. I have Brett. I have Sarah. Okay, let's get to some fun stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is go to, so let's just see if I need to take a breath there for folks uploading transcripts. Is there any difficulty uploading transcripts? Okay. All right, so I'm assuming everyone's uploaded transcripts. So we just went to add transcript, upload file, okay? And then just give it a second. All right. I'm going to go on unless somebody tells me to stop. Okay. All right. So once I'm here, so I'm going to go to AI tools. And this is it's inductive coding, deductive coding, automatic. By the way, when I look at other tools, it's very complicated. Okay. And it doesn't have to be. So we're trying to really keep things minimal. So you can use things and not be confused in other ways. So what's happening here is that the tool is going in and it takes, a minute or 2 minutes, and it's going in and it's excerpting important passages, which you will have to vet. Okay, then it's going ahead and seeing which one of those passages go together, creating a code name, and then a code description. These are all suggestions. Nothing is in stone here. Okay, so what it's found is 86 excerpts that are in 7 different codes. Okay, and then I'm going to just apply that to the project. So basically, here are the unassigned codes. So now the task is to go into each of these codes and go into details, and then look at the suggested code name, alternative holistic approaches to health. Here's a description. These are all editable, okay? All right, and then here are all the excerpts that go together with alternative holistic approaches to health. Okay. So just go through these things. Now, so for example, you may go in here and say, you know what? I don't think that's enough context. I can go to that passage, okay, and say, you know what? I really need more context here. All right. So that's one way to start interacting with those excerpts. Okay. So you want to go into each of those names, descriptions, and themes, okay, and shorten it or lengthen it, because these are excerpts that are supporting your codes, so they have to make sense to your brain. All right. The next step is in this inductive process. So do I need to give a breath for folks to do this?
I haven't heard anyone kind of struggling to get this part done. Of
Okay.
course, everyone's going to have to take some time and go through all these, but at least we'll show you the steps. You can go back and watch the video and work through it at your pace.
Right. So maybe I need a big stop sign after these things to say, stop, look at each of the codes, descriptions, and excerpts, right? So that's going to be a process there.
Right. And then just one question about how to upload data from Hannah. She says she had some open-ended questions in a survey, and how should she upload that? And you could paste them in here, and then I don't know if you want to maybe a little bit later show that other text classification piece.
Yeah, my sense is that's a quantitative survey with some qualitative things, and maybe for sure watch the Intellectus Statistics demo website. But If it's just some open-ended, we have ways of helping to classify that, and maybe I can get to that. Okay, so I do want to add two other pieces to this. One is adding codes manually, manual code, enter in the code name, code description. Okay. It's going to show up here. All right. And then for any of these codes, I can then just grab a what I think is an important excerpt, hit the plus sign, and it ties that excerpt to that code. So that's the way to do a fully manual mode. Okay. I can also have AI help me with the naming of it. I think that's an important passage. I can go to the code and have the AI assist by helping to name, excuse me, name and describe that code. Okay, so there's three modes of doing that coding. Well, really four, but at the moment, inductive coding, which is pulling excerpts, codes, and descriptions, fully manual by putting in my code name and selecting the excerpt to tie to it, or thirdly, using AI to help name, I'll say a hybrid version of helping to name that excerpt with a code name. Okay, that's all I want to do for coding for the moment. All right, so let's go to the thematizing process. So as I mentioned in that PowerPoint, the first task is, from an AI point of view and from Intellectus point of view, is to figure out what is the optimal number of themes. Well, AI is helpful because it's now consolidating, in this particular case, it knows what to consolidate. It's consolidating these three codes into a theme named Integrative and Personalized Health Management. It's only using one code for impact of family health background. So that's a milestone step right there. How many themes? What are the potential names of themes? You can update this with more or less themes, okay? And then apply to the project. So what it's done is you can see that icon here. That's our theme icon. Those icons are our code icons. Really, maybe we should have made those icons a T and a C, or T and a C in between it, so you know, but you can see that these codes are bucketed underneath there, these kind of indented a bit. So just as in the, well, the next step, here's the big stop sign, okay, which is to go into the details of the theme, okay, and look at that suggested theme name, theme description, and then do those codes make sense now that we have familiarity with those codes? Do those codes make sense to go with that theme? Okay. You will have already vetted at the last stop sign the excerpts that go with those codes. All right. And you can see that the number of excerpts that are going into that theme is 31 from the managing health conditions and just 9 from the gut health and digestive disorders. So a little visual there. Okay. Next step is to start to build that results document. Okay. So one of the things we want to do is go to the insights. So one thing to do would be to actually start grabbing the CAPAs, right? Because we have our themes, we have our codes. Let's just get to that rationale part. So the research question theme rationale, it's a very simple process, as is the desire of the whole tool, which is to add to that research question, what are the experiences with digestive disorders? Okay, you can select the themes to tie together with that through your own knowledge, or you can use AI to suggest which themes go together with that research question. And it selected those themes to go with that research question. And what it does is now it is identifying that research question, and it said that theme potentially goes with it, And here is the rationale for your consideration of why that theme goes with that research question. And then it's got some other data about the codes involved and so forth. And then the next the next theme, why that goes with that research question about experiences with digestive disorders and that rationale and so forth. All right, part one. Part two, a deep dive into the themes. I can select the themes, a theme, select some representative excerpts. And what this is doing is, again, helping to build my results document, which is, here's my theme, and I could do this for each one. Here's the description of my theme. And then here are the codes involved with that, okay, and supporting excerpts. All right. I can also visualize some things. These are new additions. So here is a theme occurrence. So here are my two transcripts. And then here are the number of excerpts that are in that theme from Brett. And here are the number of excerpts, 12 in this case, from Sarah that goes with that theme. And ditto, so here's something, right? So here's Sarah for that theme, okay? Only Sarah contributed to it. That's interesting. You know, so you want to look at these things. You can also look at it by codes, okay? And you can submit these things as well. And there's other kind of drill downs in this thing, all right? All right. We also have a co-occurrence matrix. What's happening here? Well, what's inside the cell is the number of excerpts that are, this is the number of excerpts that are overlapping. So, for example, I'll start with this one, which is that for theme number 2 and theme number 1, there is one excerpt that overlaps, okay? I think you ideally want these to be 0. That is, I have very unique excerpts for my different themes. Here, I actually have, okay, 4 excerpts that are overlapping with each other. I know I did the one by expanding it, but so I think you want these to be 0. Ideally, you want these things to be orthogonal-ish, where they're not overlapping. Because if your themes or if your codes are overlapping, hey gosh, you know, I have 10 excerpts for code 4, and they're overlapping with 1. Maybe those codes need to be collapsed together. So it's just a way of looking at how excerpts are overlapping by the themes or codes, and you can download that to a CSV. Now, we've also added the kappa analysis that I mentioned at the top in that PowerPoint. The issue is this. The issue is I have all of these excerpts, okay? And so just to kind of, the way that I understand inter-rater reliability is you have outside raters that are now trying to tie together that text excerpts, okay, with those themes. And it's basically a matching task. That is, I say that this text goes with holistic management. Do other raters also think that? So the inter-rater reliability is the agreement of, I think this theme and this excerpt go together. Also, we agree potentially that this theme and this excerpt do not go together. All right, so that's the intention here. All right. So, but now, how do we do it in a very efficient manner? Well, I'm sure competitors are going to love this because it's a good, you know, it's a good way to do it. So, you basically just go here and go to reliability tool. All right, you create a snapshot, which means that when you're doing this, it's taking whatever codes and themes and excerpts you have at the moment. You can't be changing things and saying, I updated the theme, I've shortened the excerpt. No, you're creating a snapshot And basically, you just put in your raters' email addresses. They're going to get a survey. And I don't know. I think I can, just to show you what it looks like. Let me just see if I can do this. I think I can do this. Okay. All right. So I think if I let me see, just to show you what this looks like. Okay. So here I'm going to go to survey. And here's what's happening. So, welcome to the Integrated Reliability Survey. Here are my different excerpts. Okay, here's some instructions and start the survey. Here's to show you. So here's one excerpt. Okay. Afterwards, no pizza. Dairy will affect me much more than gluten. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I get to select which theme that goes with. Okay. All right. And then go to next. All right. You can see the check mark for excerpt 1. I go to the next excerpt. Okay, which themes to go with? Okay, next. And just bang through those excerpts. It does speak to making sure that your excerpts are really right on and are representative of those codes and themes, okay? Because it's going to mess up your reliability. If you have excerpts that don't really go, or you have theme names that are not descriptive, okay? That's not helpful. And you can scroll over to refresh yourself of what those themes are, okay? So that's the process. Once you have that, then you can go to the, well, I'll show you up here. Where this has been done already. Okay. When I go to insights, because it's already been done. So I can go to the kappa. So after 2 or more folks have done it, if you have 3 or more, that's fine. It's going to give you every pairing. So if you have 2 raters, it's going to give you rater 1 and rater 2. If you have 3 raters, it's going to give you the kappas for every theme, rater 1 to rater 2, rater 1 to rater 3, rater 2 to rater 3, and the average of all of those ratings at the theme level and the overall level. So, so what do we have here? So I think we just have 2 raters here. So this is just between Marlon and Melissa. This is kind of the qualitative description that goes with that. And then you can see the kappas for each of the themes and overall, and then the qualitative description of that. So once that's all happening, you can go back. You go back. So once you have your rationale, the themes, your visualizations, your kappa, then you can go to download. Okay? And it downloads into an editable Word document, which is right here. And now you have an editable Word document with your research question, theme, rationale. Okay. Your theme drill down, visualization, then you'd have the kappa as well. So I think with all of that being said, I think I will stop, take questions, and see what we have. So. Okay, so let me see if I have any questions in the Q&A. Where is my Q&A? Under more, Q&A, got it, okay. So is this able to recognize specific theoretical frameworks to do deductive analysis? You know, at the moment, I think I would put that into the rationale, all right? I think the short answer is no at the moment, but we have thought about that. What context would be important to put in there? At the moment, I think I would stick that into the rationale, but stick that into the purpose statement hey, use this theoretical framework. But with respect to deductive, I think the moment is you're gonna want to put in some code name or description based on a theoretical framework. It's not perfect, but good question. How do you know if there's overlap? Do the overlaps occur when a number is larger than one minus the matrix, larger than one in the matrix? So, okay, so I think what you're getting at is under the insights, under the co-occurrence matrix, how do you know if there's overlap? Well, it's indicated by the number that's in the cell. So this is saying that, for example, here, that theme 2, and those excerpts related to theme 2, and theme 3, and the excerpts related to theme 3 are totally unique. There's 0 overlaps. Where here, there is one excerpt that is overlapping between theme 1 and theme 3. So that's how you know, is based on that number. All right. Can a software also be used to do an exhaustive literature review search? We're getting there. We're getting there. You know, and you say exhaustive, you know. So I don't know if it's going to get exhaustive, because exhaustive means you can tap into basically a library. So exhaustive, I think, is pushing the limit. I think that there are some .orgs that have some literature. One that you can tap into. 2, I think you can upload the PDFs. Problem is, journal articles are typically 2 columns. Does better with one PDF, with, you know, so, you know, it's not quite there, but you know, we need to have our programmer look at refining so we can take in articles that are 2 columns. So we're not there yet. For the integrated reliability theme option, is there any option for none in case you do not agree with any of the options? I'm not sure of your question, what you mean by the options for none.
I think if you have the list of your themes, maybe you don't want any of them, and then it's like an NA or a none of the above, which is there's not that option currently.
There's not that option, but I don't even know if it makes sense though, right? I mean, am I making up like I'm putting in an excerpt that doesn't belong with anything? The interesting part about the kappa coefficient is it takes into account you know, wrong answers and so forth. So I think the use case is these are real excerpts, these are real themes, and they go with someone, and do your best to align those. What if the kappa coefficient is low? Slight agreement. Will the system allow you to go back and edit the codes and themes? Absolutely. So once I know that that theme has got poor reliability, for example, I want to go back now and do that deep dive into that name, because basically it's the name, right? What are those raters looking at? They're looking at the name and the description. It might just be, hey, these excerpts do go with it and support that theme, but maybe it's needs to be more scholarly written. Maybe it needs to be dumbed down. You know, it needs to be appropriate for your rater's level of education. So I think, yes, the short answer is yes, but it's an important thing that you have to go back. That is the indication. That low reliability is the indication that your raters could not agree that that excerpt and that theme go together. So yes, you want to go back into codes, go back into excerpts, and go back into themes. So great question. Each of my excerpts contains multiple codes. Each of my excerpts contain multiple codes. How does it handle that overlap? So you got a couple things going on there. So one is it might be appropriate that a particular excerpt has different nuances to it. That's very possible. That excerpt talking about parents is a good code for mom, a good code for dad, a good code for both parents. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is, hey, gosh, I don't want these things to overlap. Okay, great. So maybe I need to be going in and saying, you know what? I don't want this overlap here, okay, with this and this. So maybe I need to go there, okay, click out of that, subtract that out of there, all right, so they're not overlapping with each other. So I think using the co-occurrence matrix at the code level, at the theme level, also at the excerpt, you can see, you can download this excerpt and see if there's different codes going on or two codes going on here. That's the place you want to look at that to say, does it make sense? I don't see that they are overlapping at the moment. Let me just download it real quick. So yeah, and we're looking to make this a little bit prettier, but here's the transcript, here's the excerpt. So if there's two truths here, as is the case here, okay. So maybe maybe this excerpt should go with, and this has implications for Kappa, by the way, this in particular. So unless those two codes are, oh, this, I'm sorry, this is the theme, my bad. Okay, so these are the codes and these are the themes. So it is only in one code and it is only in one theme. But be it as it may, it's possible that that excerpt is in two codes. So you may want to say, you know what, it better fits in one code than the other, okay? Or, hey, it legitimately belongs in both of them. So I think that's kind of how you would do that. So you would do the drill down. You would do the drill down in the excerpt mode, okay? Download. I guess I'll mention a couple other things. One, just to go back a little bit, I don't know if I showed the manual and AI assisted theme. So that's analogous to the manual and AI assisted codes. Just wanted to highlight that. Wanted to highlight that when you're doing that rereading, you could add memos at the moment. And there's also a log of some of the activities that were happening. So if you're an advisor and you want to see what's happening, you can look at that. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing? Other questions?
If you could show how to merge codes, we had a question about that, but I think seeing it visually would help as well.
Merge codes into a theme?
So I believe what happened is they ran the inductive coding and some of the codes were similar and wanted to merge them together.
Okay, so here's one code, gut health, and then here are the other codes. So I just clicked. I clicked here, the three dots to merge, and then I'm putting this code with this. Yes, merge. And I think it took that code and merged it into that. So basically what it did, it took the excerpts from that code and put it together with that. Okay, my dissertation coach, hey, Dr. Pringle, let's do a shout out for Dr. Pringle. She's a dissertation coach for students. Can't get any more lovely than Dr. Pringle. Shared that the excerpts Excel sheets will prove beneficial to me. So what we're doing here is, so once I have this, I think is what we're talking about, you can export and import these codes and excerpts by going here. and just go to export. So you can export this code book or import this code book. And what does that look like? So here, all right, so let me just do this. Okay, so here's the name of a theme, and here's a description. Theme, theme, theme. Okay, so here's a code. So here is a name of the code. These should probably be tied together. Name of the code and a description of that code, and then here is the theme that it's tied to. You can see the parent theme. So you can download that post your thematizing process, or you can upload, particularly for deductive, you can upload that name, description, code or theme, and then parent theme if relevant. So thanks for saying that. I came in during the CAP analysis. You're late. Hey, Rihanna, you're still late. Okay, good to see you. All right, who typically participates in this? I have a team of people coding the transcripts. Does the team take this, or do we have outside people do this? I think you could do both. I mean, we did have a conversation just this morning about, does it make sense to have the raters doing these things? So I think as a preliminary kind of check internally, why not have the additional raters, the additional coders do that, just to kind of get a flavor for, how we're doing with integrated reliability. For sure, after you've completed your analysis and all of your coders, then I think you need to go out to people that know nothing and say, here was a theme in the description, theme name in the description, here are the excerpts, do these things go together? It speaks to the generalizability of this thing, that if you have inside people or just one researcher and you're saying, here's a theme that is the truth in the world, and here are the excerpts that represent that, you want that double checked. You want to have that be where other people, in different places and in different, and I'll say, disciplines and a different time of the world, that they could recognize, yeah, that is a theme that, if you have depression, these are themes that are steady Eddie throughout, right? Can't think, can't sleep, can't eat, don't enjoy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you want those things to be real. And you get that by having people tie particular excerpts to those themes. So it's a long answer. But I think there is a use case to have internal raters do it, just so you can get things cleaned up. I mean, if you have low reliability, I'd want to go back. I'd want to go back and say, I think it's a great theme name, but somehow other people aren't finding it. So I think I think it's okay to do those two steps. That was my thought. Why not? Right. Okay, so the program even provides a description that's so awesome. You're welcome. Steady Eddie. In the case study in one institution, anything we should know about the methodology or how to use the software. Happy to give you personalized demos. Contact Ashley or Melissa. We're happy to set that up. Even happier if you bring other colleagues with you. I mean, this is an innovative tool that's really adding rigor and efficiency to qualitative and thematic analysis like never before. And we've kept the program, we have a lot of conversations about it, to keep it very simple. There's very little learning curve. I mean, in 15 minutes, you can start engaging with this thing. Other tools, you got to watch, 20 hours of videos. This is 10 minutes. So, to share with others, and do contact Ashley and do contact Melissa, and we'll help you. I have multiple, I'm not going in order here. I have multiple transcripts in a project, good, and want to search a portion of them. Is that possible? It's a conversation to be had. So yeah, so you can go in and search particular terms here. So that is the way to go search it. So, so I'm like, see how this goes. So it's going to go through all, so no matches. So maybe just let me see how that happens. So it's going to go through all of the transcripts, searching for that. But we're going to be, the idea is just to add an AI slice to that. It might be stomach, it might be tummy, and I think, Melissa, that is the use case that I don't have to put in the exact term because I don't know what terms are out there. But that plus the analogies, I think that's the use case right there.
Well, you can also look at, you can search the term and then navigate to the specific area of the transcripts that you want to search to. So
yeah, but it wouldn't pick up tummy.
That's different, right?
Okay, it wouldn't pick up tummy or other things related to it, because people are going to say things in different ways, and that's the beauty of the AI. So, but that is the use case. All right, what's next? Also, is there a published journal article that uses online software? Max, you're the first one. So no, I mean, we have for the quantitative tool. We have tons of academic clients that have used it. Okay. For the quantitative tool, let me see if I can get to the bottom of this. We have what am I looking for? I am looking for articles. Melissa, where am I at here? I should be looking. Is it under? I'm looking for published works. Sorry.
Yep. Under resources at the top should be the drop down. Yeah.
Okay. It wouldn't hurt to have it at the bottom too. Okay. So we do have, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of published work. So it's a long answer to Max. It's coming, but get in there. All right. So get in there and publish it. All right. Does an assistant tell him whether you have reached saturation? Not a bad idea. What is saturation exactly? I mean, at what point have we exhausted the codes and themes in there? So I guess that would be something like that. It's in every transcript, right? That might be something. That hey, this theme is there, and not saturation is it's only showing up in that one case of I think it was under bar, when it's only Sarah. So I think I would look at some of the visualizations to see, does it make sense that the number of excerpts, the number of codes, and transcripts. So I think I didn't answer your question fully. I apologize for that, but I think I would look at some of the plots to see if it can help be informative to speak to that. How are excerpts delineated in uploaded data document? Punctuation, quotes. So good question. So it basically looks like this. So it can take it any way you have it, but this is just how it's kind of the interviewer question and then the participant and so forth, back and forth. But it's smart enough to pick up the different punctuations. Can I only add collaborators at the integrated reliability? So a couple things about collaborators. One is that you can have other folks work on a project by by sharing, okay? So you can share the project, which just means that you can have several other folks, as in Brianna's case, several other folks working on it. Unfortunately, it's done in a serial fashion rather than a Google Docs thing. Turns out that's pretty complicated. So you could do it in serial fashion. That's one thing in terms of the excerpting, coding, and thematizing. The other part of collaboration is when you get to the reliability tool, so you can have as many as you want, and it will assess the permutations of each of those raters. Again, I gave the example of 3 raters, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 3, but you can have as many as you want. 23 years ago, they had 15 raters. That's a heck of a lot of kappas. But you want to know that because you may look at, and in fact, you can massage some of those results of, hey, you know what? I don't want to use, that rater that came in, Saturday morning. He looked very tired, rather than people who are really invested in it. So you'll want those different permutations of integrated reliability. How does it know the difference between the interviewer and the subject? Great question. AI is smart. Melissa doesn't think it's that smart, but I think it's pretty smart. But it's, it does do that. By the way, if it doesn't do that, right? Then when you're vetting those excerpts, okay, you say, hey, that's a question from the interviewer. I'm gonna want to dump that excerpt. Okay. What's the major difference between this and in vivo? I can't speak to in vivo. I got to tell you one thing though. This is a simple tool that's helping you do thematic analysis in an efficient way and export it. For sure, no one's got the kappa going on. I think the way that we have curated this, there's a lot of other stuff under the hood in terms of proprietary prompts, different LLMs, the way that we're constructing the insights document. Having said that, I think they probably do have some, great documentation. There's a whole video library of those 25 hours. So I don't want, and they could do videos at the moment and do that, so I guess I should put in the, this may not be the tool for every single use case. So let me just put that out there. If you have videos that you're transcribing, maybe NVivo is the best way to go.
Did we have oh, go ahead.
No,
we
go
have
ahead.
a few people that have that same open-ended survey. It's mostly quantitative. Do you mind showing that other piece?
My pleasure. So so here, so if I go to upload a file, let me just do this first. So a lot of times they have, I gotta close this. Okay. So a lot of times people have a basic quantitative survey, demographics and knowledge, pre-to-post or whatever, but they have an open-ended, okay? And the question is, without getting into a whole qualitative analysis, what we offer is, you can upload this data. It's probably an Excel file. Cancel, sorry. So once we upload that file, by the way, this is the quantitative analysis tool. It throws you into a data cleaning wizard that I'm not going to get into at the moment, but we will communicate when our next quantitative survey is, our next quantitative webinar is. Okay, so just to share that, here is a question about transformational leadership and their thoughts about it. We do have a text classification functionality, which is that you can look to automatically, you can manually look at the categories automatically. So what it does though, is it takes those open-ended responses, particularly if you have more than 20, like however many one might have, okay? And it's bucketing those into leadership and personal development, strategic thinking, transformational leadership. So it doesn't do a deep dive of naming a theme or describing a theme, but it does give an idea of a title, perhaps, of a theme. And the important part is that one is you can kind of look at frequency and percent of these, but you could also start interacting with those theme names with this other data. The difference on knowledge is knowledge by how you perform, how you perceive your leader, and so forth. So that's the short version of that. I give one other quick thing since well, I probably can't, well, maybe. Just to share one quick thing. That this tool, like the qualitative tool, and I think this is the distinction here, pre-test, post-test. I think the one win here, the one win here is this. When you get to results, let me get rid of this. When you get to results, descriptives, it puts everything in APA format and describes it in plain English prose. Select the test, like descriptives, conduct the analyses, and voila, APA table, and then a write-up of what's inside of that. Scale variables in an APA table, a write-up what's there. When you do any of these tests, what it's going to do is preload the assumptions, evaluate the assumptions, and write up the results with APA tables and figures in 2 seconds. So just to give that plug, normality is an assumption of a paired t-test. It identifies the test, it runs the test, and interprets the test. And then the results are in plain English. There was a significant difference from pre to post. APA table, helpful scrollovers, and interpretation. So come to the quantitative webinar. Happy to go through this in more detail and show you things. I will say, wrapping up a little bit here, that this does come with not necessarily come with, we offer 20 lessons to go with this qualitative tool. So you can, and these are competency-based lessons that go behind learning management systems. Grades go to grade books. Ditto for the quantitative tool and the quantitative courses. There's 65 of them or so. So just to know, there's free training, AI-assisted quantitative and qualitative tools, courseware, and customer service. That's really, these ladies do not let your email sit. So we're helping to help you get it up and running quickly and answer your questions with me, with them, with tech, whatever you need. So just to state that. And I think with that, let me just, from current slide, as we're wrapping up here, oopsie, as we're wrapping up, let's give some contact information. What is the email? What does the email look like when they're invited? Happy to, Melissa, let's just get Rihanna a trial, no problem, and then you can kind of get into that. This morning I presented current status. Okay, and I share a currently going through iterations. Oops. 3 iterations. Okay, and the first student she worked with it's quite impressed. Well, so there's just a little kudos coming from Herling. So thank you. I do ask you all, one thing is to build tools that are helpful. The other one is to have folks know about them and use them. Please, I'll say to the folks that are remaining, tell 3 other people. Tell them there's quantitative tools and qualitative tools that are leveraging AI, keeping it simple, helping you do your analysis so you can get to the heart of what you want to do, which is implement those insights that you got from that. So I think with that being said, I appreciate everyone hanging in there. Great job. share it, and thank you all so much. Melissa, any final thoughts?
No, I think that's it. We will send everybody the recording and invites to the next webinars. Ashley's email address will also be in there for you if you want to contact her, if you're faculty about extended trials or anything else, we're happy to help you. So keep an eye out for that either later today or early tomorrow.
And we're happy to do those personalized demos. So do invite colleagues. People are doing either quant or qual, and we're happy to show you how this can benefit you in your daily work and with your students. So thank you for your attention, and really appreciate you being here, and see you all the next time.